Hello, Taurus, to your timeless, the love variant reading, where we talk about anything that wants to be discussed in a way that love may show up in your life at this time. This could be in regards to being single, partnered up, karmic, divine, polyamory, divorced, married, you name it. All right, whatever brings you here, there may be something here for you. Just bear that in mind. Also, Taurus, these messages will provide universal justice if you're here in Taurus being your sun, rising, and or Jupiter position. However, if you're here in your placement being of Taurus in Moon, Mercury, and or even Venus, I will ask that you check out my description box below for my sister channel, where she may offer you emotional redemption that you may be in search of. All right. Some of you want a lot more than what you have at this time. Sounds a bit cliche, but for those of you who want it to remain a secret, it's not very cliche. Some of you have a partner, but would like to venture having multiple partners, but you don't really know how to keep that in like a divine aspect. And the part that you don't know how to is what's in question by ether. I need to filter through, like I need a second to filter through, like what's the best way to tackle this, because there are like a lot of ways that we could want to try to set Taurian energy at this time in their place. Remember that when we listen to readings, we enforce things. And what we enforce is not necessarily whether it's real, tangible, unreal, belief, not belief. It's just you brought your attention to it. And whatever you bring attention to, Taurus, is part of your appeal. That's why you want more. You want more. There's a lot of sexual energy coming through. Not necessarily feeling it being bad. It's not, again, it's not about it being good or bad. That is an ideology at the end of the day, if we're going to call it even that. But we could, I guess, say whether or not this is consensual energy or not, with the inner chi of yourself and any other inner chi involved, whether or not it's quote-unquote positive energy. And I think that's what majority of you are trying to figuring out, where your sexual identity lies, where your expression exists, where it gets nourished, where it gets fed, where it's abundant, where it can be monetized for some of you. Some of you have social media that's tied to voluptuous energy, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You do you, all right? Do you. But you never sell yourself short you know, and that's the key to anything in life, anything that you bring your energy to, for the inner chi and the outer chi to bring that energy, you know. So anyway, all that energy. Queen of Swords, the independence, for sure. All right, for sure. It's that like bit of, I know information, and the information that I know brings me to the successes that I demand, because there's a lot of demanding energy for this type of energy at this time. I see this belonging to somebody who has a stake in some sort of work role of finalizing decisions, or, you know, the data to make important decisions. Like, this is the kind of like Taurian energy this applies to, for just knowing what it is that you sit on, and you sit on your own worth, your own purpose, your own inner quest, and you want it to make sense, you want it to apply, and you want it to give you back something of worth. So you always know how to put value on some of your services, which is great. Again, but what is that weird energy? It's like this weird shit that's like lurking around. It's like, what is it, Taurus? What is it that you don't want to talk about? What like triggers you the most, where you're like, off the table of discussion. We're not going there. Like, what is it? All right, and if it's bad, I don't mean to like laugh at it. I'm laughing at the comedy. That if that resonates, it's like, I get it, but if it can be read over here, it's still pretty fucking loud. So we don't necessarily have to go into specifics for it to exist, right? Look at that, what I said. Off topic, off the table, please. Three of Swords, heartbreak. Because you're longing for structure at this time, the Emperor. The Emperor, structure. All right, talking about it is like, I don't want to talk about it because it will throw me off my A game at this time. I need to mind my own business. I gotta do things that I gotta do. I gotta stay in my lane. I gotta make my money work. I can't count on nobody. Right, at the same time, all that you do is probably humanitarian. It's like you almost have to be looked at like, what's wrong, Taurus? Why are you a bit arrogant? Like, there's some relationship happening around you in the darkness of which you do not see, that are just like wishing they could have a relationship with you of some kind, but you're just so up in your own morphed up head that you're consumed by your trauma. But the consumption is like, doesn't make sense, because the way you preach is of other, meaning you maybe to preach to other people that you like are a Reiki healer and you know how to heal energy and work to inner chi and high priestess galore, read between the lines, master, know how to read scripture, translate it, transcribe it, teach it, morph into it, blah blah blah, lead by example, all that stuff. But then what is wrong, Taurus? What brings you here at this time? It's like a crack, and we need to make light of this crack, because if you don't make light of this crack will keep on ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping, and you will lose out of your structure. There's a lot of deniability coming through. So here we have a longing being answered, because the message is coming in clear, because whatever message is received, resurrection is coming forth here. Whatever is putting an end to is immediately putting worth to, and then something cracks open. It's like we need to put awareness to that there is a situation, that there's a crack? Are you listening to the message? Are you putting a light to the situation? Boom, the resurrection begins, the letting go occurs. You reached a form of like, aha, like a Russian doll, a valuable thing inside, and you see there's actually, ooh, there may be actually some sort of romance to be gotten, something new, something lasting, something everlasting, something of potential, and something worth of healing. Because secretly, that's the kind of relationship that you want, the one of healing. You don't want the other bullshit, but you're gonna be pretty damn good at mastering the bullshit. I'm not gonna front, I'm not gonna lie. All right, there's a reason why you are the bull, Taurus. All right, you can you can handle bullies. Some of you are being pressed to look at the relationships that you have at this time and understand which relationships need to just be let go of, you know, whether it's time, distance, emotional independence, like, or codependence, because the High Priestess here, being able to understand your power, because at the end of the day, you're also very power hungry, Taurus. All right, you love seeing things from the multifaceted point of perspective. The part of seeing it from that perspective is also knowing the responsibility here, Virgo energy, pulling back and then realizing which relationships, as you look at what it is that you've risen into becoming aware of here, from the Seven of Cups all the way to the Hermit energy, that dancing in this energy of what is the perceived voidness, the void where everything and nothing occurs at the same time. You can come out of that and become you can scribe on the experience well. You can speak on its behalf. But you have to humble yourself to understanding that this is a human experience that you have to teach it to. Triggering of the heart, mind, and soul to be able to understand why those relationships are as different from another as they are at this time. You're stretched thin from the person over there to the person over there, and if those two ever met with one another, they're sort of like night and day different. But that's kind of like how you rock. You rock in pulling a lot of people together from different backgrounds, different niches, and humbling them to understand that, wow, you're so different from each other, and y'all get along. There's an appeal that you have from being that leader. You can make a lot of people feel calm in a chaotic situation. You have a lot to offer in the vibration of your astuteness, okay, and bringing people of the masses to victory. A lot of people look to you for your strengths, for your ability to discern decisions for yourself. But the way that you see it or not is up to defining what brings you here at this time and space of listening to something like this. What's the ultimate message that you're in search for? What is the ultimate validation that you need to keep going? To not distinguish your inner energy, your inner passion, your inner wanderlust, your talent to appeal to the masses of many people through the emotional connections. But what sometimes you lack in is being that dependable sunshine. As the sunshine comes up to remind me of that just a little bit, you know, like I wanted to say, to be that dependable, cohesive, responsible person for everyone is a lot to be asked of. And that's how you can be stretched thin. Like, you're the actual sun in people's inner vulnerabilities that attracts them to you, because you meet them subtly and you meet them without prejudice, you meet them without judgment, and that's how people love to communicate with you. That's how you attract situations, even if they're not to the best of the highest accord to your societal standards. You know, some of you battle deeply with that to the point where you don't even see that shadow aspect for yourself just yet in your own spiritual maturation of self. You may get to a point. What's a question is the relationships to come, and it's juicy, it's luscious, it's voluptuous, it's wanting to embrace one another with nakedness and purity, with all truths and honesty at its veil. Powerful, very powerful, because it's going to ask for a lot of your vulnerability to show up to the surface and be all in. Because if you're not all in, Taurus, you're not going to get all of this. You're not going to get the full loaded perspective of everything that there is to possibly venture to consent to. Glass. I see something very literal, like a golden ring of opportunity, a proposal, a venture to the next chapter, a understanding of self, understanding of light, possible visions, earth-shattering revelations for self. Producing fundamental art pieces, artwork, craftsmanship, foretelling time. Sugar, wow. Immediately I saw like a chaos coming through that, the many changes of behavior, identities, personalities that just come up in addressing all multifaceted ways of self, and what becomes triggered in your emotional outpouring of your creative juices, your creative longing of stability of self and others, how you relate to others, how you show up for others, how sweet the situation is, if it's too sweet, if it's artificial sweetness, if it's organic sweetness, if it's chemically bleached, if it's enriched, like, is it chemically made, the laboratory produced, like, seeing things from a micro spectacle, and then understanding how macro it can fester over time. And if it festers, if it's a positive thing to look at and bring clarity to, when glass like brings a lot of it brings attention to a lot of the issues that are there. Okay. When something's too sweet, it needs to be let go of, I'm hearing. Not everything that shows up with your butterflies in your stomach is said to be a sweet character. Bad sugar causes diabetes for some. It's like a lot of eyes, one eye open and one eye shut, like still being a bit chaotic and not unsure of how real everything is in their life, like how much one feels and how secure it feels. I'm getting as well. Some energies that someone feels can be very overwhelming, and then like when you try to become humble and just bring yourself to certain situations that may offer some resources or networking, you just aren't that satisfied with the experience. Like there's something else, and it makes the journey feel so long and exhaustive for certain individuals at this time. But maybe what may be needed is to just rest and take a moment for some energies to kind of just show up, while you knowing the energies of discovery of yourself has already been made. It's just about whatever is in its way to arrive to your awareness, both eyes open, is a personal problem to something else not tied to you. Okay. There's a lot of immature energy dancing around you at this time, so there are certain debacles that are just so dramatic that it's so exhaustive to try to even like bring reconciliation to, because you almost see the ego of somebody else being like more into themselves, like more egocentric, and just more of a bully, more of like, I knew you'd come to me kind of attitude, and you're just not in that position anymore to desire putting more energy on going after anyone, which is great. The muse, generosity, naivety. The witch, experimentation, rebellion. Just, I hate when I have to get into this, like, it shows up energy here. But, you know, if it resonates, it resonates for some of you, and you'll start becoming triggered in a way that it may resonate with you. It's not to scare you, it's just to give you a position of maybe needing to face resistance and meet the balance required, because someone's sleeping on the fact that someone may have a hex on someone else. Right? When we talk about that, energy becomes very political, it becomes very impossible to believe. Sorry for this terrible background energy, like distraction. Wild. Alright. But here we have taken command, teamwork, the sleeper, cause and effect, clarity, the witch, experimentation, rebellion. Alright, so this is the type of energy that makes me sad to even discuss, because there's no words to really bring truth to the situation, but a lot besides just listening to people talk about their experiences, and then we draw up our own conclusions for things to be possible. You know, it's the same political way that people feel like, does Reiki provide anything negative? The answer is no. Yet whatever you perceive as negative is something that festers within outside you. So that's something, an ethical question almost, that gets into emotional intelligence of having a conversation, because it's very exhausting. There's a lot of cause and effect for things to happen at any given moment of time that infuses itself with offering itself off with clarity. And chaos can provide that as much as silence can provide that, as you yourself can offer that yourself, or someone else in your cross paths can offer you clarity. So, you know, to think that there are energies who put intention to placing negative awareness of consciousness onto other individuals is a hard concept to even try to find just only needs to have a conversation out on, because it puts someone in a constant need of having to look out for themselves, which is unfair for how vulnerable we're supposed to enter this world and leave this world. So for that, I'm just kind of like gonna go, kind of leave that where that is, and just let it be what it is, because it's not like we're ignoring it. We're not ignoring it. Nothing about what we just talked about gave ignorance to that possibility. But what we are not going to do is entertain the fact that, should it be something that one acclaims to be part of their journey, And we're going to entertain that it offers you, the individual who possibly feels that way, to induce fear within you. For that, you're taking command of your own self. You are learning how to morph your own inner chi to become an aspect of your own muse, your own the witch, if you want to call it, all right? And allowing yourself to become enriched with the captain of your destined energy, which is your energy. Alright. I'm hearing the word temptation, all right? Whether you're being the one being tempted, or you find something or someone tempting. It's this magnetic Empress energy, your energy at this time, Taurus, to really bring out the best of yourself, as well as accepting the worst of yourself and taking full control, full ownership. And with that becomes an amazing talent to understand what emotional relationships to latch onto and other relationships to just kind of watch out on, because everyone is in one way or another in a relationship with one another, even strangers. So you're bringing yourself to this type of reason, to this type of awareness, to bring ease to your emotional suffering. You're also possible downfalls and hurdles of being emotionally codependent on others, and having others need to meet your standard, which is something that cannot be fulfilled in the way that you want it to be, maybe exact. I see two individuals of choices. I see that there is one individual that is around this Taurian energy that offers reason for reason to be conscientious, reason to take fear and entertain it. And then I see someone else who looks at the fears that you possess, Taurus, and is not only interested, but the presence whispers them away. And it's up to you to see that with one eye open and one eye shut. And in the way that you dance with this magnifying energy, magnetic energy. All right, being told that's where we're leaving it. With that being said, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.